Welcome back to the Wellness Script podcast. I'm Lauren O'Reilly, a qualified pharmacist and your host for today. We all have a picture in our head of what a healthy person looks like. Fit, high-performing, glowing, ticking every box. But what if the person who looks like they have it all figured out is also quietly navigating something that none of us can see? My guest today is Vanessa Ogbonna, ex-semi-pro footballer, public health professional, content creator, and winner of the Traitors Ireland. She's ticked every box, but she's also living with a chronic illness diagnosis. By the end of this episode, I think you'll walk away feeling seen, challenged, and with a new definition of what resilience really looks like. Vanessa.
Hi.
Hi. You are so welcome to the Wellness Script podcast.
Thank you. I feel like we've already had it off cam.
Yes.
So good.
There's so much to talk about with you. And I feel like, as you said yourself, there's so many sides to you. And a lot of people will know you from the Traitors Ireland, that you won that.
Yay.
And, that you have been a semi-professional footballer. But like you've been on this whole wellness journey yourself, which is what I've been obsessed with watching. And I just want to get into that with you. But I suppose, could we start with, what is wellness to you? What does that look like in your life at the moment?
I was gonna put what's it called? What's that? What's the? Oh no! Do you know the people that WHO?
Yes, the World Health Organization. Yes.
Start with WHO definition.
Yeah.
But no, I think wellness to me right now is figuring out what works for me and when for every season or for each season. So this season's a lot busier. It's a lot just more activity and more bigger events. Like for example, I did Trica last week. I'm doing the Dublin City Marathon. So that's literally those everyday bits that lead up to something. Because I'm not competing anymore. I'm not really on a fitness buzz, and obviously there's a massive difference. But wellness to me is what do I need every day to kind of get through? It's very that's how simple it is for me right now, and that's what I need it to be almost.
And underneath that, I suppose from the outside, anyone who's looking on is like when you said I'm not on a fitness buzz, I'm like, Vanessa, please, you are because you're training and you're so active. But I guess underneath that, you have a chronic illness, and that is what I suppose shapes, I suppose, how you approach your fitness, your wellness. So is that what you mean when you say
100%? Yeah. So I think with lupus, which is an autoimmune illness, for anyone listening, obviously you know what it is. It's more because my body can flare up at any time. And I was actually thinking about this yesterday because I went on a run and it was actually one of the worst runs I've ever had. But I also have sports-induced asthma, which is so funny because my life essentially doesn't want me to play sport, but all I want to do is play sport. So with lupus, at any point in time, fatigue, stress, all of these things play a massive part. So the biggest thing for me is consistency and moderation. So that's why I mean that I'm not on fitness buzz. I think fitness requires you to progress every single time you do something. Fitness requires you to kind of push a little bit more, whereas wellness sometimes takes a little bit of a step back and allows you to take a step back. So right now I'm very much just listening to my body. I'm on gut healthness for the year. So I'm eating things that I know are going to add to the anti-inflammation in my body. I'm sleeping really well. I'm not pushing at all. So I think that's what I mean by the wellness. Even when I did Trike, and even the fact that I'm training for Dublin City Half Marathon, I'm not looking for a time. I'm doing it because I'm able to. And I think that's the message that I'm really pushing out right now, especially having a chronic illness, is that right now this is the level that I'm able to do it at. And this might decrease as I get older, but I'm going to make sure that I'm doing to my best right now, because I would hate to hit 40 or something, or 50, 60 and have an inability to move and look back and be actually I wasted the years that I could move, So that's what I mean that I'm taking a step back. And that's kind of the difference between fitness and wellness to me. It's kind of the slow and steady vibe right now, as opposed to how hard can I go today, which is completely different to what I would have been doing 10 years ago.
Definitely. And I love that you say that, it's framed in the context of the fact that you have a chronic condition to manage, and you're actively thinking, because it's an inflammatory condition, like, how can I lower my inflammation? But everyone could benefit from that, because like, I often think, I went to a physio before because had a knee injury, and he said to me, he was like, you know what, some people are just not built to run long distances. And I actually, that might sound like he was putting a barrier on me, but I actually took it as, that's actually a relief, because with everything that you see on social media, it can feel like you're supposed to push, push, push. And I was like, do you know what? Maybe that's just not for me,
Once I'm on this Dublin City Half Marathon, I'm never running this far ever again. Like, the only reason I'm running this far is because I'm fundraising for Plan Ireland. Even after I did my half marathon last year, I literally said I'm never doing it again, because the same thing. It's like, me as an athlete, I couldn't run more than like 1 kilometer, like, without dying. So for me, it's a mental thing right now. It's like, okay, things that I couldn't do. Maybe physically, I had the ability to run better times when I was like full-time footballer, but I actually didn't have the mental capacity to do that. I actually was very mentally weak as an athlete. And I think what you said about on social media pushing, it's even worse as an athlete, and it's kind of even how I got sick in the first place. Is that mentality that you just walk it off. You walk it off and you keep going and you keep progressing. And even like the concept of like training for stuff, the regular athlete, the regular person, people feel incomplete if they do a 5K and they've walked some of it. We are not Olympians. Like, I know that this is like anti what people are saying right now. Like, I will say to myself, sometimes I'm running, I'm like, nobody's forcing me to do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, nobody's forcing me to do this. And that's not it's not in any way a weak mindset. It's like, do the best for you. If you have the ability to push and you can push, by all means, push. But like, for me, I just feel like right now I can't push. And if pushing means that I can't live a regular life or a better life daily, then I don't need to push.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think I'm kind of pushing a message of like, whatever my capacity is, I'm doing my best. But I'm also turning 30 this year. So I think that's kind of where my mindset is going, in the sense that like, I'm not a full-time athlete anymore. It doesn't require me to wake up 24/7. And I think a lot of people who are in the fitness community, that is the biggest time consumption for them.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. Like, if you're going to the gym for like 2 hours a day and then you're taking a nap in the middle of the day, or like you're stretching, or you have 2 sessions in a day, like, I have social media, I have my own job, I have like presenting, and then I'm also trying to do a bunch of things out around that. Right now, fitness cannot be at the front of my life. Do you know what I mean? So my biggest concern for myself is, one, reduce inflammation. Two, how can I actually get what I need to get and also be able to do everything else that I need to do, you know?
Omega-3 is one of those supplements that I genuinely kept up taking over time. I first started taking Sona's Omega-3 around the time of my laser eye surgery, and I've kept it up ever since. Sona Omega-3 contains EPA and DHA, contributing to the normal function of the brain and the vision, as well as to the normal functioning of the heart. And it also contains vitamin E as an antioxidant. Sona are offering an exclusive gift for listeners of the Wellness Script podcast. So when you make any purchase on sona.ie and use the code SONAGIFT at checkout, a free gift will be added to your order while stocks last, and terms and conditions do apply and are below in the caption. Now, let's get back to the episode. It needs to like not take from your life,
No.
because as you just said, you've a busy life. A lot of people listening have busy lives. If the fitness regime that they feel like they should be doing is actually costing them energy that they would, actually otherwise rather spend on family or social or work, or, then maybe fitness looks different for you. Maybe it's a
100%.
Zumba class that brings you joy and social connection all in one, So it doesn't all have to be. And I'm trying to come to terms with that as well myself. Like, I'm so like type A, like, and like metrics and stuff. And even
We got the
like,
whoops.
yeah, we got the whoops. I know. I was like, the only good thing about the whoop is that it doesn't have a screen, so I'm not
Yeah.
actually thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's just like having a bracelet on. So I like it for sleep and things like that, but I'm definitely not obsessed with metrics.
Yeah.
And like that, I'm prioritizing things like sleep and all of that. But you told me off air about this, and I thought it was so interesting. At the time that you were starting to get symptoms of lupus in 2021, you were like in the thick of it, doing football, professionally, and doing a TV show around football in London. And like your reaction was to just push through that. And I think that a lot of people who perhaps have been on a chronic illness kind of journey would also relate to that. So can you tell us about what that was like at the time? Like,
Yeah, 100%. So it started when I got COVID in January of 2021.
Mhm.
Also the same week that was at the start of our preseason with Wexford Youths. And at the time, I literally only took the time that I needed to take off. And then as of like the 14 days, I went straight back to football. Even within that time, when I was starting to feel better, but my isolation period wasn't off, I was on the bike at home doing burpees in the back garden, running like by myself and things like that. Um, I was trying to prepare myself for the season to come. At the time, obviously, we didn't really know the effects COVID would have as much, but like I just ignored all those symptoms and I was just like, if I can just get to being a professional footballer in England, I'll just go to the hospital after. Like that was
Yeah,
like
any cost.
that was my mindset. I was like, I'm gonna be a professional footballer,
Mhm.
then I'll go to the hospital. Um, but in the process of filming, I literally had to stop. Like they stopped one of the days and just had to look at me and they were like, look, like we actually can't morally let you progress because there's something clearly wrong. But
Mm.
like I was literally just pushing my body to play football, even though like my legs were like swollen, my hand was so like there's pictures of me, I don't look like me. Like,
Okay.
do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But in my brain, I actually convinced myself that I was overweight. So I was just like, oh, I just haven't been training this year. I haven't like taken my time. Like I didn't take preseason seriously, all
Mhm.
these things. And there's this guilt that you have to operate on as a professional athlete or semi-professional athlete or professional athlete.
Yeah.
The guilt of like not doing enough like is always going to be there because
Mhm.
it's a results based sport.
Yep.
Like you don't just like obviously skill is there, but you get what you work for.
Yes.
And when you're not getting what you work for, you start to assume you didn't work hard enough.
Mhm.
And I think that's where I was. I was just like, I'm not at my best because I didn't try hard enough.
Mhm.
So let me keep trying hard until I get where I was going. But I was not listening to my body at all.
Yeah, and the phrase when we don't make time for wellness, our body makes time for us. Like it
Yes.
literally
Hmm.
force you to stop. And that's so interesting. It's almost like um, yeah, your body was telling you like
But it
you
was
can't.
screaming.
Yeah, yeah. So like that must have like obviously it changes how you approach your life because you have to, but also like how has that mental shift been into you know um like clearly you're a very driven individual, and the fact that you were like, no, I'm going to be a professional
Mhm.
footballer if it all it takes,
If it literally kills me.
like,
And
yeah,
it nearly
quite
did.
literally.
No, like
Yeah,
it nearly did.
you see, yeah.
Yeah.
So like how have you like you're still like so driven and so motivated and achieving all the time, but you're balancing that then right with
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. I definitely don't achieve as much as I could anymore. I think growing up, like that was a massive identity piece, right? It was
Okay.
always being the fastest, being the strongest, being the footballer. Like that was my thing. Like it's so interesting that people know me for anything other than sport right now. Like there's people in my life that all they knew me for was
Yes.
soccer. So that was a very hard part of my life. And it's still something that I'm actively still dealing with
Mhm.
because for more from the majority of my life, I've been a footballer,
Mm.
even till now. Like only like probably the last 5 years would I say that maybe 4 or 3, I would call myself a content creator, anything other than a football player. There's also back to that shame piece. It's like speaking about football when I'm not in it was
Mm.
also kind of a shameful feeling. I felt like I don't have anything to say, I don't have anything to offer. But I actually met some girls the other day from League of Ireland. I was kind of talking to them and like they were just so relating to things that I was saying. I was like, wait, like, no, I actually know what I'm saying. Like I played football for over 18 years. I went to America for it and I was like pursuing a professional career. Like
Mhm.
I know what I'm talking about kind of thing.
Mhm.
But you almost feel this kind of like, oh, does anybody want to listen to me? Or is this my place?
Mhm.
Almost because I'm not in the football system in Ireland anymore. Um, so that was a very hard place to be mentally because I just didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. It was a loss of a sense of identity.
Mm.
And there was such a massive mental shift. Like a lot of people kind of go through this when they get like a bad diagnosis. They start to kind of like antisocial behavior. Like it's
Okay.
like running away from it. Like I was going out all the time. It's just like it's another thing that you have to deal with and overcome, because I don't know who I am in this time. So I was about, how old was I? 24, 25 when this happened. Then I ended up moving to Dublin because I was in Waterford at the time, in a new city, trying to figure out what I'm doing, making new friends, losing friends, all of these things. So that had a massive, massive shift on my life. It's only probably in the last 2 years that I would say I've started to take control of it, and like going back to more of like a wellness element, and realizing that like, okay, finally accepting the fact that I have lupus, I have this thing. Like I would just like, my mom would like talk about it. I'm like, bro, like it's fine. Like I'll just
Yeah.
take my medication. Like we spoke about like adherence to medication was so low at a point for me. Cause I was just like, anytime I would be in a hospital, it would be like the worst day, because I'm just reminded of this thing all the time. But I've come to a place where it still sucks, but I guess like I'm living a life now that I can see the fruit of like my hard work.
Yes.
And I'm now like pivoting into another side of my career. And like in football, like there's a saying like, you either leave the game or the game leaves you. And like unfortunately, like both happened
Yeah.
to me at the same time. I had to leave and the game went away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think for me, mentally it was very heavy, but I think it's just because it was something that was with me for the longest time. And now I'm finding my feet in what that looks like, because women's sport in Ireland is massive. Media around women's sport in Ireland is also not massive. The mentality about sport in Ireland is also not great. Sometimes it's like people don't want to hear people talking about sport. They just want you to play and get over it,
Yes.
kind of thing. Like they don't want to hear anything around it. They just want people to play, you know. So I'm still finding my way in that and in every other thing that I'm doing. But yeah, definitely more of like a acceptance phase, I would say, and then
That's so
doing my
interesting.
best.
Yeah, that you got that diagnosis and then, that you actually have to kind of you have to accept it and not be in denial. And as you said, the medication adherence, maybe it's like, oh, I don't really like,
Mhm.
it's not really, I don't have this
Yeah.
thing or yeah.
It
And
was really hard
yeah,
because I felt fairly hard done by, because it was like I was living a healthy life. I ate healthily. I didn't like, I remember I had my first like Big Mac that year, because I went to Paris and I had a Big Mac in Paris with my friends, and that was like the first time that I'm eating like bad food like that. And I'm like, I literally have lived a healthy life. How am I the one who's getting sick, kind of thing? So it's almost like that kind of negotiation piece. It's like, what, like, why me, almost, kind of thing. So that played like a massive part in like where I was mentally as well, because it's hard to accept it because it's not my fault, kind
yes.
of thing. Do you know what I mean?
And did anything in particular help you come to terms with it, or was it just time and adjusting?
No, like I would say my faith is probably like the biggest thing. Like I
Yeah.
think one of my friends from college actually messaged me last week when I posted the tryout. It was 2 weeks now. And she was like, it's mad that you're doing all these things with lupus. I was like, yeah, like I just came to terms that like, one, life goes on, and two, like knowing that like for me in my faith, there's more to life than just this life, helps me to see past all of those things, because it's like I believe there's more than this. And like with lupus and the conversations I'm having and things, I'm able to like impact other people, as much as I would definitely choose being a professional footballer than impacting people. It's just something that I'm coming to terms with. You know what I mean? So finding kind of that purpose in life has like been a massive, massive part. And time just, you need to kind of get past something to be able to look back on it. Like when you're in the fire, when you're in the middle of it, like it's only survival mode. Like you don't get to, there's no perspective,
Yes.
like you don't feel like things are ending. Like even now, like talking to my boyfriend, like he'll say stuff and I'm like, like the way I think, I have like the mindset of like a professional athlete. Like
Yeah.
that's why I think the way that I think. Like sometimes he'll be like, well, not him, like we'll have conversations about how people perceive me, and sometimes it can be a little bit standoffish or not very approachable. And I'm like, yeah, there's certain rooms that like I approach life as an athlete, and you can't relate, like, do you know, like not in a cocky way. It's like I can't relate to like the way certain things happen for certain people. Like I'll take like being a woman in the gym, for example. I can't relate to feeling shy in the gym.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
there's
because that's
certain,
never been your
I
experience.
I don't
Yeah.
care that men are grunting in the
Yeah.
gym.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, I will go pick up whatever weights. Even you're picking up a 30, I will pick up a 10.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I don't feel that way about my body in the gym. Like I don't see my body in that way. Like I see my body more like as an asset, and these are things to do. So
Yeah.
there's certain things I didn't grow up on. So it's like when there's certain conversations happening or certain mindsets or people are doing certain things, I might come across as a little bit standoffish or a little bit forward, but it's because I was planning on being a professional athlete for the better part of my life, and that kind of sticks with me.
Yeah.
And it's only, not to make it like this exclusive club or whatever, but only athletes kind of understand that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I only dated athletes. I only had friends with athletes. Like, all of my friends now, only my friends from America understand me a lot more than some of my friends here, because we
Yeah.
went through the same thing. Like, we're like student athletes in America. Like, only those people understand the same thing as professional footballers. Only they understand those things, you know? So there's certain things that I go through or I experience in life, and I'm just like, this is like, I have to remind myself I'm not actually an athlete anymore, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, but I think that I really like that, because I think that even if you are walking into a room and your energy around something, whether it's fitness or working out, is different, I think that that's great, because it challenges people to see it differently. Like, my brother is a professional football player in Scotland, and he is the one who got me into the gym, and I would have been the person who was really shy and like, oh my God, what am I
Yeah.
going to do in here? But seeing him lead by example was what shifted my mindset. And he kind of drilled into me the importance of strength training for women before it was cool, in
Yeah.
quotation marks, you know. And that really helped me to overcome that. So like, it would have been even cooler if I had
Yeah.
a woman
Oh,
example, you know.
I have like no, growing up I had no female role models.
Yeah.
Like, when anybody who asks me who my favorite football players who are, I'm just saying like Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, do you know what I mean? So I guess we've come to a place where it's like,
Yeah.
it's really nice that women are
Exactly.
leading the way.
Yeah.
But I would say like my biggest problem is the capitalization of like the pink tax. I absolutely hate that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I hate that. I don't know. There's two sides of me, right? I struggle with the, like, obviously look good, feel good in the gym kind of thing, but also sometimes just go.
Yes.
Just go. You don't have to be perfect. You don't, like, nobody on my life, nobody knows what they're doing. Like, and the people who know what they're doing, like, that's on them. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, go and figure out what works for you. And I think, like, I hate when I'm seeing things marketed to women and I'm just like, you don't need that to start, you know? And like, sometimes it does help with the motivation piece. It does help with like just starting, like just getting across. But like, sometimes there's certain things that I don't like how it's framed for women, you know? And I think that's probably a little bit of the difference of like being an athlete versus like, I tell people that like, I only became like a regular person in 2021 because it's like, I just didn't understand. Even I remember like dating for the first time, I was like, why are people so weird? Like, do you know what I mean? Where it's like athletes are also weird, but I understood that weird.
You were in a bubble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Such a bubble. I
Yeah.
understood that life. I didn't understand like when I'm talking or I'm being confident and people are like perceiving me to be a certain way. I was like, no, these skills are good on a football pitch.
Yeah.
It's good to be direct. It's good to be loud. It's good. Like, you just said what you needed to say and then you deal with kind of tone and you deal with all that after. Whereas now it's like kind of learning how to like be perceived more like feminine, you know. That's something that I'm like working on, like in the more like traditional way. Like, I still think like, I think I'm very feminine, but I'm just like in my way. Like, I wouldn't be like stereotypical.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a tomboy. Sometimes I just
I
want to do
love
whatever.
that though. Why does there have to be one definition of what feminine can look
Yeah.
like? And that's the whole thing, is like, when young girls, or I know that you know, you talks with schools and universities and football teams and that kind of thing. And how amazing is it when people see somebody who looks like a different definition of what being a woman and being feminine can look like.
Yeah, for sure.
And also thank you for touching on what helped you through that adaptation with your chronic illness. I think it's so important to think of our well-being from a holistic point of view, and that your faith and you know, I think having spiritual wellness is so important as well, you know. Because we're not just stats on our Whoop. We're not just the things that we achieve, whether it's a trike or a high rocks or a half marathon and all these things, but like, what does that actually do for you? Like, so many people achieve so much, whether it's professionally or whether it's in fitness or wellness, only to kind of realize that they're really burnt out at the end of it all. Like, what's it all for? You know?
The medals are pretty nice.
Yeah, the medals are they're pretty nice.
The medals and the patches are lovely.
Yeah.
I guess what's it all for? It's like,
Yeah.
Like, life is to be lived.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, like, and I think I'm only here.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to think that this is like my mindset. This is not my mindset was life is to be achieved. So that was my mindset before now. Like, I only praise myself. Like, I was performance based from young. The only time I got attention was when I was winning stuff or when I was doing well in school. Like, so like there needs to be a balance and like a strive for greatness. But I also think that there needs to be an understanding of purpose in life. Like life, first and foremost, is to be enjoyed. But the reality is, and I'm coming to terms with this, I don't think that you can fully achieve without sacrificing joy a little bit.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
you either get to be the best or you either get to be happy. I low key am coming to I don't know if I don't know where I fully stand with that, but I feel like I'm happier now, but I feel like I'm achieving a lot less. I definitely feel like I'm a lot like I'm not trying as hard. Whereas when I was trying as hard, I wouldn't say I was at my happiest, but like I felt accomplished with my achievements. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like
It
I think
does.
I sacrificed friendships, I sacrificed like girlhood, I sacrificed living with my family. Like I had no problem. Like I think the first place that I got like contract negotiations was like Scandinavian countries. I've never been there. I've nothing to do with Finland. Like, what am I doing in Finland? But I was happy to move there to achieve said goal as professional footballer. But I knew I wasn't gonna be happy. I knew I was gonna miss out on I missed out on so many birthdays living in America.
Yeah.
You know, like there was a lot of times that I wasn't happy per se, but I felt accomplished from my achievements. Whereas now, I would say on paper, like I know I achieve things every day, but like I feel like I could work a lot harder than I'm working now. But that would be at price of my happiness.
Yes.
I know that it's like a weird place.
Yeah.
But I think I'm working on how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I'm currently sitting right now.
Hey, if you're loving this episode, do me a favor and click subscribe. It helps the podcast grow and helps me to keep bringing you conversations like this one. Back to the episode. Yeah, I totally relate to that. Like, I don't know if it's like an experience thing or like, like we're similar age, and I would have been like that as well. Like even like I would have been like really in like I had I'm actually so embarrassed to say this, but I had like 625 like stuck on my desk. Like I was like, I just want to get like the best insert. Like how like I'm just like,
but everybody has their thing.
I'm like that poor girl is what I think about when I think of like my like say 17, 18-year-old self, and like just doing the most, like whatever, whether it was academic or whether it was like I was like singing and like stuff like that. But it was always accomplishment based. Like even when I sang, I trained like classical singer to grade 8, and it had to be like documented. Like so like I think only in recent years I've found more joy in both the work that I'm doing when I'm like this, but also just not being as like, I don't know, that every second of every day has to be almost scheduled and almost like output focused.
I hear you. Like I think it's a hard one. I think I would have this conversation with an adult. I think, and this is where I'm a hypocrite, I probably wouldn't mind if I had a child. I wouldn't want them to be happy at a young age. I would want them to work. Do you know what I mean? Like as much as I don't feel like I was happy, I wasn't like miserable. But I think that experience has set you up to have a mindset of hard work.
Do you think that yeah, I do. And do you think that comes from, that you had support systems around you? Because really you're pushing really hard, but at the end of the day, you know that you're loved, and like, that kind of way.
And I think that's, I would probably, I'm not sure if I knew that I was loved outside of performance. I knew that I was, but I performed to be loved, if that makes sense. Like by others, by my family, even though like my family loved me, but it just, you love me more when I bring home a medal. You love me more when I get an A, So I think from my understanding, I'd probably do it differently. But I do think that hard work from a very young age sets you up. You can't, there's lessons that I've learned in football that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. I get the privilege of slowing down because I know what it was to lock in, but I think there's a massive difference. And it's so I'm so 30. Like I feel like I don't know how to explain it, but like every conversation I have, I'm like, why did I just bring up kids? Do you know what I mean? But I just feel like that's my thought process. Like if like I don't, and that's what I'm saying, it's a very nuanced thing with the happiness and the achievement thing, like to achieve because you can as opposed to achieve because you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you are this thing, you are, you're leaving certain points or whatever. But I think achieving from a young age set me up with the mindset that I have right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like I don't think it works the other way around.
No, I agree.
You
And I
know?
think I actually think it's very important to pursue what your gifts and your talents are. And I think I saw I think it was Reese Witherspoon saying like don't pursue goals, pursue your talents. And I think that if you do pursue your talents and what you're good at, actually like and it will take hard work and you
Mhm.
can't shy away from that, you'll actually be happier. I think there's a there's uh like action cures anxiety kind of thing.
Mm.
Like if we feel like we're not living in alignment with what we could be, then we kind of maybe always feel like I should be or I could be
Yeah.
doing more. So I do think that I think that especially when we're young, like really going for what
Yeah,
we
100%.
and not shying away from it or
No,
not making ourselves smaller than we need to be, because
100%.
I think there is a cost to that as well,
Yeah,
you
and I
know?
know I know it doesn't seem
Yeah.
directly wellness based, but I do think it
Yeah.
is. Like I think how you see yourself
Mhm.
and how you see where you exist in the
Mhm.
world will determine how you treat yourself. And I
Yes.
think that's what wellness is. It's like, what am I eating? What am I watching? What am I doing? Like, so it's like, I'm from a young age, I'm trying to achieve
Mm.
like, I didn't see it as wellness at the time, but it's like like equilibrium. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that's essentially what we're striving for when we're looking in wellness. Like we're trying to find a physical equilibrium, like it's
Mhm.
mental, like social, all of these things. And
Mhm.
I think there's a season for everything. There's a season for working hard. There's a season for
Mhm.
chilling out. There's a season for locking in and all of these things. And I think
Yes.
all of those seasons have changed for me. And
Mhm.
right now in this moment, like my mindset has shifted from the go-getter all like, but I think that will change again.
Yeah.
Like I think that will change. Like we talked about family, we spoke about like marriage and all of these things. I
Yeah.
think there's a time for everything. And right now, my goal is to like enjoy this moment that I'm in.
Mhm.
Cause I know for a fact that at my highest, like winning, I've won best player awards years when I was playing in Ireland. I've won the championship in college. Like I didn't appreciate those moments. Like I took the award.
Mhm.
One, I thought I deserved it because I was so cocky. I was like, yes, I am the best player. Thank you for acknowledging this. Number two,
Correct.
you are right. You know what I mean? Like, thanks for this moment.
Yeah.
Who else could it be?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. And unfortunately, that was my mindset at a young age, you know?
I love
But
that.
now it's kind of like just community is a massive piece to the wellness bit for me. Like
Yeah.
when I say like my friends at the time were so used to me not coming to things, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, I relate to that.
like I'm not coming. Don't even. Of course, I'm going to watch.
I'm busy.
Even if I'm not,
Yeah.
being busy was
Yeah.
such a badge of honor.
Yeah.
What about? I loved being busy.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to quit everything.
Yeah.
You know.
'Cause we're not an island. I think that's what
No,
you realize as well, isn't it?
hundred
When you're
percent.
and if you are thinking about the future and maybe you're thinking about, things like, as you said, family and you're like, I'm not gonna do all this on my own.
No,
You
you need
need you need
people.
people around
Yeah.
you, you
My
know?
my biggest realization when I started telling my story was that I was never alone. Like you think that,
Yeah.
and it goes back to, unfortunately, like being an athlete, you have to be a little bit like narcissistic a little bit. Like I'm the center of my world and sometimes the world at the time. And I thought every single thing that I went through, I did on my own.
Yeah.
Like I got to Michigan on my own. I won all those things. Mind you, I'm playing a team sport. I was the best at football on my own, like all of these
Yeah.
things on my own. It wasn't until I look back and I was like, no, when I tore my ACL my first year of college, there were people there. When I like my dad passed away in that time, there were people there. Moving back to Ireland, there were people there. Even getting on League of Ireland teams and whatever, there were people there that were looking out for me all that time and they still are. So I
Mhm.
think like the more I grow up, like I'm realizing like part of my wellness walk and stuff, like it's not just about me,
Mm.
and I think that's most of the story that I share right now, whether it's about lupus, whether it's about like community and representation in Ireland, whether it's about like even just like going into like presenting and talking, it's like the things that I'm speaking about, like I want them to like impart life into other people, not
Mhm.
take from everybody, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And even just sharing the downsides of my story, like everybody has their issue, like I'm not the only, like you might not have lupus, you might not have torn your ACL or lost out on sports or whatever, but you have whatever you can relate to in that way. And I think like it's a weird one because it's not the way wellness is being packaged right now,
Mm.
but like that's how I'm seeing wellness right now. And that's why I'm seeing my role in what I believe like wellness is to me as well.
Yeah, no, totally, Vanessa. And I think that's where I come at it from as well. Like, I'm a pharmacist and, went to college, did all the study, but like the more that I see people, whether it's patients or friends or family, the more that you realize that it's the whole person. Like even my granddad is has a, like a health challenge at the moment, and he was going for treatment, and he showed up, and he had his, like, he's really well dressed, and they said, you know what, because you came in here so chipper and so, like, eager and full of life because of his age and stuff. If it was somebody else who was like down in the dumps and this, "Oh, I can't believe I have this diagnosis. I can't believe," and like, really, we wouldn't be offering you this treatment. But
Yeah.
because you came in with the attitude that you came in with, we believe that with the will that you have and the energy that you bring, that you're worth
Yeah.
investing the resources on
100%.
almost. And I don't know if everybody sees it that way, but like you can see two people who are, grew up in the same area, lived in the same area, maybe their whole life in a pharmacy setting. And they just completely present themselves differently to the pharmacy. And one person is well and one isn't. And I can't help but thinking that mindset and how you approach each day, even how they greet you,
Yeah.
says so much about their approach
Yeah.
to their well-being, which is holistic.
100%. And that's why I went into public health. So
Yeah.
my mom's she's an intellectual disability nurse, and she loves that. And she wanted to push me into that. And I was like, look, I will go and do whatever course you want. I'll give you the degree and I'll go do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do that. But the way I have such a problem with how health is packaged. The capitalists, I've mentioned capitalism so many times. Can you tell I'm against it? No. We all operate in it, obviously.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue, and coming from like minority African background, I'm seeing things in the African community that I felt like are not necessary. A lot of it is health literacy, right? Like it's also, you're living in a country where what is westernized isn't kind of the same way it would be like in Africa, for example. You're living a lifestyle that's not aligned with your culture, essentially, and that was like a massive part of why I wanted to go into public health, because prevention made more sense than cure for me. But it's not packaged that way. Like we're people wait, and we're told to just do whatever we want until whatever age, and then they're like, why did you do that? You were ruining your life this whole time, kind of thing. And it's like every single step of development plays, like it plays a part in your whole lifestyle, and like you said, like they're elderly people who are looking way more like fit and healthy than younger people. And a lot of that is like barrier to entry of like access to information.
Yes.
Number one, information to like access to treatments. Like financially, it's really like if you can't eat like fresh foods, you will obviously live a certain way. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was a problem that I was seeing massively. So that's why I chose, like, so I don't know if I have a master's in public health.
Yes.
So that's why I went into that. And I was just like, when I was in America, I saw good and bad of capitalism, but people had such a more holistic view on health. And unfortunately, it was paid for. But in Ireland, sometimes I just find like it's so hard to get information to stuff. It's so hard to get access to stuff. Like treatments are almost too late a lot of the times. We see that in women's health in Ireland. Do you know what I mean? And like obviously massive revolution going on there, but there's so much information that because of shame, because of like lack of a barrier to entries, people aren't getting what they need in time. And I think medicine is only going to keep you in medicine. Like it's only going to keep you in that system. We need to try to avoid that as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? And like I don't talk about the health as much anymore, but like that's my mindset behind it. And that's why I really, really, really love public health, because you're seeing societally, like whether you're a woman or a man, like you said, like two people live in the exact same place. Sometimes they have the exact same income, but it's one factor will make that difference, whether it's like mindset, whether it's like food, fitness, all of these things. Like and once again, it's not to be the fittest person there, but like massive difference between like going for walks and stuff like that. And I guess that's where my biggest issue with the packaging of fitness and wellness right now, because it makes it seem like it needs to be this grandiose thing, which for some people is fine, but for everybody there needs to be there's a minimum. There's a minimum amount of movement, there's a minimum amount of like supplements and things. Even sorry, I'm just crashing out right now. Even the way supplements are phrased right now, it's all
Yes.
buying into stuff where there's so much things that you can get from food. There's so much,
Absolutely.
just buy food. Just
Yeah.
buy the right foods, and you don't need some, like, obviously if you have issues with your body, you need to like supplement them outside of that. But
Mhm.
the way we live sometimes is the biggest hindrance to our wellness,
Mhm.
and I think that's the biggest thing for me and how I experience wellness.
Yeah, that's and there's so much in that, Vanessa, that you said, which and I think a hugely important piece is representation as well. Especially, within the healthcare system and in and around it and in policy. As you said, women have to wait a really long time for diagnoses. Like, I've been speaking on the podcast about things like endometriosis and
Mm,
PCOS, and how, research like is there be underrepresentations for women, for ethnic minorities, for and all of that affects how then when somebody from whether it's from an ethnic minority or from a woman presenting, that if the research isn't there for the healthcare professional to deliver tailored advice, then they're not getting
mm,
as good treatment. So there needs to be public health, like, is where it all begins,
yeah,
and then that's what the experience then becomes when someone comes into a treatment
yeah,
situation,
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's the way it's packaged,
Yeah.
right? And it's a system.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess it's the biggest thing that we have that's good and
Mhm.
bad now is that like we have access to information, right? And
Yes.
there's certain things that we can do ourselves to like promote our well-being. So I guess once you get into a stage of like ill health,
Mhm.
like that's different,
Mhm.
but on a baseline,
Mhm.
there's so much we can do, right? It's like talking about like even my lupus diagnosis, like there's sometimes like I'm having flare-ups with my kidneys, like yes, I can't reverse that with food,
Yeah.
but there are also foods that I shouldn't be eating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like I'm not like anti-alcohol or like saying that I'm like alcohol free or whatever, but I just don't drink anymore because
It,
it's not adding to my body. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? That's inflammation in
Mhm.
itself. So I think like for me, it's just that kind of that piece,
Mhm.
like and society, it's just a bigger thing.
Yeah.
It's such a massive thing,
Yeah.
but we have a little bit of like privilege right now, depending on like where you are, and like to be able to take a little bit back yourself and doing the little bits that you can
Yes.
make such a massive difference. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you said, even just like in the hospital, I know they see all the time like people who have different types of illness, but
Yeah.
just because they've changed their mindset towards it and they're not only leaning on kind of westernized
Mhm.
like, and I'm not promoting like
Mhm.
herbs and stuff
Mhm.
because I don't take any myself, but
Mhm.
there are different ways of
Yeah.
living that even just like physical activity,
Mhm.
like yoga, movement, like it's not gonna cure everything, but
Mhm.
it definitely will slow down a lot of things.
Exactly. Why not help ourselves where we can
100%.
in our lifestyle? So I suppose, Vanessa, kind of to wrap, what would your advice be to somebody who, they're on a wellness journey and maybe they've faced some roadblocks in terms of their health, they faced a challenge or, a career change, whether
Mhm.
it's because of health or not. Like, what would you say is your kind of, I suppose, guide to adaptation? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would say the biggest thing is like take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time, like three things. Take your time, be intentional, and be consistent.
Mm.
Right. I think a lot of the times when people do get like negative information from a health point of view,
Mhm.
the first thing is two things. You either like take a step back, like I did, and I was like, why is this all happening to me? And then I did nothing.
Mm.
And then I rushed really far ahead and was like, I need to fix this right now. I need to get this. I need to get this. But I think I've seen much better responses now that like I'm taking my time to figure out what I need. Like I'm not cutting out everything immediately,
Mm.
cutting out bits slowly and like building that up, but doing that consistently and intentionally.
Mhm.
I think I would say like most people listening to this would either be our age or a bit older.
Mhm.
I would say like it's really important to find what works for you. Like there's so much information out there. There's so many things to do. Like just figure out what works for you and like be proud of that. Like,
Mhm.
like it's the comparison is massive. Like it's so hard. Like I don't sometimes I'm looking at people's times on Instagram and TikTok and I'm like on Strava. I'm never running a sub 4 pace for more than like 500 meters.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like there's like I'm figuring out what my baseline is
Mhm.
and I'm either trying to get better at that or I'm trying to maintain that,
Mhm.
and that's me taking my time, but doing that consistently because we have so much life to live. And, you know, and I think depending on what season you are in, you need to figure out what works for you, right? Like my training from 10 years ago when I was a like full-time athlete is not what I need right now. Do you know what I mean? My season will change again in the future, and I need to figure out what that means at that time. So I think, yeah, take your time, be intentional, and I guess do that consistently.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank
you so much,
you.
Vanessa. And I'm going to put all the links below, but where can people find you if they want to learn more about everything that you do?
Oh yeah, I just do random
So many
stuff.
things.
Just random bits, you know. So just hates me Nesser on
Yeah.
everything, on Instagram, TikTok,
Amazing.
LinkedIn if you want to connect there.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's me.
All the links below.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Vanessa.
you. Thanks for having me.
That's it for today's episode of The Wellness Script. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit subscribe and review with 5 stars. It really helps us to grow and keep these evidence-based conversations coming with top experts to help you on your health and wellness journey. You can follow us at Wellness Script Pod on socials for more. And a huge thank you to our sponsor, Sona Vitamins, Ireland's longest established nutritional supplement producer. Catch you next Wednesday with a brand new episode, Your Prescription for Better Living.